Go deeper with what you already have. When I look back at my early years as a trader, I see a person obsessed with collecting tools. Indicators, strategies, books, mentors, programs. I wanted them all. Every new idea felt like a secret door to consistency. Every course promised to be the missing piece. I thought success was a matter of finding more, not mastering what I already had. But the truth is, you don't need more tools. You need to go deeper with the ones already in your hands. Before we continue, a quick disclaimer. What follows is not financial advice. It's a story about psychology, self-awareness, and performance. Lessons I've learned in trading and in life. Let's begin. For a long time, I believed progress meant expansion. More data, more knowledge, more screens. But the longer I stayed in this game, the more I realized that growth doesn't come from adding complexity. It comes from refinement. Depth. Understanding the nuances of what's already working. And why. The deeper I went, the more I saw that trading isn't about mastering the market. It's about mastering the conversation you have with yourself every time you enter one. The illusion of more. In my second year of trading, I switched strategies at least 12 times. Every time I hit a losing streak, I blamed the method. I told myself it needed an upgrade. A tweak. A new filter. I convinced myself that success was hiding in the next YouTube video or the next paid mentorship. I was addicted to the idea that better meant different. But every change brought the same result. Inconsistency. Not because the strategies were bad, but because I never stayed long enough to understand them. I was speaking too many languages at once and never mastering one. It reminds me of language itself. You can know the words, but until you live inside the rhythm of a language. Its pauses, tone, and emotion. You don't actually speak it. Trading is the same. You can copy someone's setup, but until you've lived inside it, through its drawdowns and false signals, you don't understand its language. When you go deeper with what you already have, something shifts. You start to notice subtleties that others overlook. You begin to sense the difference between noise and signal, hesitation and confirmation. It's the same chart, the same candles, the same indicators. But your awareness becomes sharper. It's not the tool that changes. It's the trader holding it. The power of listening. What separates experienced traders from beginners isn't necessarily skill. It's listening. Beginners look at charts and talk over them. Professionals listen. They notice how price behaves around key areas, how momentum feels when it's real, how silence in the market often means preparation. Listening is one of the most underdeveloped trading skills. And I don't mean listening to analysts or news. I mean listening to your system, your data, your reactions, your own tone of mind. Early in my journey, I was so focused on finding the perfect entry that I stopped listening to what my behavior was saying. The market was giving me feedback every day. I just wasn't present enough to hear it. If you've ever reviewed your trades and noticed the same mistake over and over again, that's your system trying to communicate with you. That's your deeper skill set waiting to emerge. The ability to listen to subtle cues, to remain non-judgmental and descriptive. That's how we grow. When I learned to describe what I was doing instead of judging it, I stopped saying, I messed up. I started saying, I entered too early because I felt fear of missing out. That single linguistic shift opened a new space in my brain. Description invites learning. Judgment closes it. The market speaks in layers. Language isn't just words. It's tone, rhythm, and context. Trading is the same. There's the literal meaning of what the price is doing. The candle, the level, the indicator. Then there's the pragmatic meaning. What traders are actually saying through their actions. And beneath that lies the personal meaning. What those movements mean to you. When a level breaks and you panic, the chart didn't betray you. It spoke a language you weren't yet fluent in. The literal message was price moved lower. The emotional translation was I failed. That's the hidden conversation happening between you and your craft. The goal isn't to silence it. It's to understand it. I started to notice how the market had different accents, depending on the time of day. The morning open had energy and sharp vowels. Like a fast New York conversation. The midday chop was lazy and quiet, almost polite. The closing hour had rhythm and drama, like a final act. When you listen that deeply, you realize the market has personality. And to understand it, you don't need new tools. You need better listening. The stories we tell ourselves. Every trader carries a story. Some tell the story of I'm almost there. Others live in the story of I used to be good before I blew up. Some hide behind I just need more capital. These stories aren't just thoughts. They're the language we use to build our trading identity. I used to tell myself that I was a risk taker. I liked the rush of volatility, the feeling of dancing with chaos. But that story was a cover for something else. Impatience. When I rewrote the story, I realized I wasn't a risk taker. I was a meaning seeker. I wanted the market to validate me. Once you see your narrative, you can edit it. You can stop writing from ego and start writing from purpose. This is what going deeper means. It's not about adding another system to your chart. It's about peeling away another layer of misunderstanding. From judgment to curiosity. When I began working with other traders, I noticed a common pattern. Many spoke the language of judgment. They would say, "I know I should have." Or "I always mess up when." But rarely did they use the language of curiosity. Curiosity sounds different. It says, "I wonder why I did that?" Or "What was I feeling right before that click?" Those small linguistic shifts create psychological distance between the trader and the emotion. That distance is what allows learning to happen. In trading, curiosity is the gateway to mastery. It keeps you present, open, and adaptive. Judgment makes you defensive and rigid. The more curious you become, the less you need to punish yourself to improve. And when you stop fighting yourself, you can finally hear what the market has been trying to tell you all along. Refinement over reinvention. There's a quote I once heard that never left me: "An amateur changes tools. A master sharpens one." If you're constantly switching systems, tweaking indicators, or chasing new mentors, ask yourself why. Are you really seeking growth? Or are you trying to escape discomfort? Growth doesn't mean collecting more information. It means refining your ability to apply the information you already have. Going deeper with what you already have means studying your patterns, your emotions, your setups, your reactions, until you understand them like your own handwriting. It means trading the same setup for 6 months until it becomes muscle memory. It means knowing the difference between a mistake and a moment of growth in disguise. When you do that, your trading stops being about control and starts being about connection. With yourself, with the market, and with the process. Conclusion. You don't need another tool. You don't need another guru. You don't need to start over. You already have enough. Knowledge, experience, instincts, data. What you need now is depth. Go deeper with what you already have. Listen better. Refine your language. Question your stories. Study the small details that others overlook. Because mastery doesn't come from what you add. It comes from what you understand more deeply. And when you finally stop running toward more, you'll realize that everything you were chasing was already here. Waiting for you to look closer.